Good, just barely afternoon, just afternoon. It's just below freezing, -2. It's going up above freezing today. It's supposed to go to +5, so it's going to be very slicey a little later on, and already is on the main roads. And it could be brown by midweek in spots. Almost certainly will, the way the temperature is shaping up. We get a few days of above freezing temperatures, and then it goes back below freezing again. And there'll probably be fresh snow again at some point to lighten things up, but it is going to probably be a little on the brown side. I have no particular place to go today, so I thought I would just cross over and walk in the Lakeview neighborhood. Sort of wander around in there, as I sometimes do, but haven't recently. I thought I'd be out earlier, but I ended up having a lot of social media stuff to do this morning for Shadowpot Press. I was interviewed on CBC Radio's Saskatchewan Weekend program this week. The interview was on Thursday, but it aired live yesterday morning. Well, it wasn't live, obviously, it was recorded, but it aired yesterday morning at 7:45. And I didn't get up and listen to it, but the link went live today, so I've been sharing that around wherever I can. Can't share it on Facebook, of course, because our government policy in Canada has resulted in Facebook not letting you share any Canadian news. Hello, Stefan. Thank you. You too. Anyway, but I put it on my main website, and then I linked it to the Facebook post to that page, so people can find it if they want. Anyway, here's a great interview all about Shapers of Worlds Volume 4, the new anthology featuring authors who were guests on my podcast. And also, Shauna Powers, the host, had read my story, The Counselor, and liked it a lot, so we talked about that quite a bit. We talked about the illustrations by my niece, Wendy Nordell, also wonderful. And meanwhile, I'm working on Shapers of Worlds Volume 5 Kickstarter. Out of 20, about 21 authors who said they'll be part of that. It's going to be the biggest one, partly because I extended the group of authors that I offered it to because of the change in how the podcast is working. I'll still be interviewing a lot of science fiction and fantasy authors, but interviewing other authors as well. So I wasn't sure if there'll be a Shapers of Worlds Volume 6 or not, but we'll see. Hey, Kirk in Vancouver. First, I got to get 5 successfully kickstarted. So I'm starting to collect backers rewards and all that stuff. Anyway, that's what I've been working on. And speaking of podcasts, I interviewed Mark Morton, author of The Headmasters, which is coming out next week for Shadowpot Press, a YA dystopian novel. He's a Canadian author. He teaches at University of Waterloo, PhD. He's from Saskatchewan originally, though. And really looking forward to his book coming out. It's very good. Hello, Ashek. Yeah, it's lovely right now. I wanted to get out before the temperature went up above freezing, so I get this nice sparkly winter stuff. As I said, it's going to be much slushier in spots as the temperature continues to rise this afternoon. And then, of course, it'll be icy overnight as the temperature drops below freezing. So, honestly, most of us, I think, would like the weather to stay at about -10 is perfect for Saskatchewan winter weather. For a high each day, that'd be perfect. A few degrees warmer, but stay well south of the thawing level until we get a bit closer to actual spring. However, you can't control the weather. And it is an El Nino year, so we've been getting lots of mild weather rolling in. And not much snow. We could certainly have lots of snow with mild weather, but we haven't had that this year. This is actually a very thin snow cover compared to what you'd probably expect this year, this time of year. Most years, like last year, I'm sure there was more, looking at my walks from back then. Hi, Jerry. Yeah, lots of sun today, that's for sure. Oh, there's Look down there, someone has set up a little skating area on the creek, and they've even cleared a path so you can skate along the creek there. We'll see that more, I guess, when we go across the bridge up here. There's someone down there walking on it. I'm not actually skating on it. Even if it's mild, the ice will be fine for quite a while yet, because it was minus 30s for a few days, which will have made it really thick. And it doesn't melt quickly. So even if we get a few days above freezing, it might get soft on top, but I don't think there's any danger of people falling through it anytime soon. And most spots. Well, it's going to be 8 degrees here in a few days before it drops again. As I said, it's been at a very, well, it was pretty mild in December, but we could have had lots of snow. We just didn't. I mean, the temperature was mild, but it wasn't so mild to keep it from snow. It just didn't snow. And then we had that big blast of cold last week when I think the worst temperature I saw was minus 36 with a wind chill of minus 51 Celsius. Minus 51 Celsius wind chill is pushing minus 60 Fahrenheit wind chill, for those of you who use Fahrenheit. But yes, sometimes we get a January thaw. This appears to be one of those years. Like it was mild in December, but we weren't setting any records. Just one of those. And again, it is an El Nino year, which for us always means milder weather. I can remember, 1980, like this, and I remember one in particular when it was snow, and by August the temperature was in the 80s Fahrenheit, which, it's not what you expect in Saskatchewan. That was about 1982 or something like that. There was also a drought that year, several of those years, and I was working at the Weyburn Review. We were taking pictures of tumbleweeds, so it looked like, and drifts of dirt, so it looked like the dirty 30s. So that path doesn't come this far. It ended pretty close down there to where I first spotted it. Now the question is, do I walk through here and then go into Lakeview, or do I cross into Lakeview here? Well, I said I'd walk in Lakeview, so I think I'll cross here and go straight on in to the neighborhood. I walk along the creek quite often. We have to cross Regina Avenue here. This is the street. If you drive straight down that way, it takes you to Regina International Airport. From here, it'd be for me about a 25-minute walk probably to the airport, which I could do even dragging luggage, but I don't. And I think we'll just kind of zigzag through Lakeview here. This is Cornwall Street. I'm going to go to the other side because the cars are all, oh no, I guess it's parking on both sides. Maybe I'll walk in the middle. No, I won't do that. Somebody will come along eventually. Well, my grandmother was an Umstadt, so they were certainly of German background. Laura Umstadt was my grandmother. I don't know how long they'd lived in Missouri at the time she came along. It could have been a very old, long since immigrated family, but definitely German. I have French, I have German, English, of course. Family legend said there was some, I don't know if it was Cherokee or Apache or something. But we can't find any firm evidence of that, so that's just a family story. So as I've often said, when we moved to Canada, I was 8 years old, 1967. And at the border, they asked my parents what our nationality was. And they said American. And the Canadian officials wouldn't let them say they were American. They had to give some sort of European nationality, which made no sense since all lines of our family pretty much have been in North America for centuries. If you go back to the Willets, they arrived about 1600 sometime in Maryland. My branch of them anyway, as far as we can tell. We couldn't say we were American, so I think my parents said we were English just because the name Willett was English. But as I said, my mom's name was Spears, which is English. But her mother was an Umstadt. Don't know if that's still the case. Probably they don't require that anymore, but it was 1967. And no, we were not draft dodgers. Having a hard time reading the notes, which are going by pretty fast, and the sun is bright, so if I don't respond to something, my apologies. I like this house. I'd like to see inside it. Oh, maybe here in the shade. None of my wife's family, her grandfather was born in Scotland. Her mother was born in England. Her grandmother was born in England. So my daughter has, all kinds of nationalities mixed in there. Real melting pot. Like I said, this is just a random walk. I'm just zigzagging as I go through the streets. So I'm going by some of the old houses here in Lakeview. Nice big trees. Big spruce here. Trees are easily 100 years old in this neighborhood. Some of them anyway. And some of the houses too. Ours will be 105 more years. We'll have to have some sort of happy centennial to the house when that comes around. Could walk in the alleys. I have done that sometime, but I think I'll stay to the streets today. Keep my eyes open for ice. Nothing spoils a good walk like a bad fall. Even golf doesn't spoil a good walk that much. That's that old joke about golf is a good walk spoiled. There's a lot of ice right here, for example. What happens as you get falling is it melts and the water, of course, goes downhill, which is often on a driveway or across the main sidewalk from somebody's sloping up approach sidewalk like this one. So then you get a lot of ice on the sidewalk next to the street. You have to watch out for. Always better on the non-shady side of the street, oddly enough, this kind of weather. Because there's going to be lots of melting over the next few days. Lots of water draining across the sidewalks, especially on the sunny side. And then they'll freeze again at night because despite being above freezing every day, it's going below freezing every night for the next few days. Most of the week, it looks like. I have to drive to Saskatchewan on Thursday, so That's all right by me to have nice, warm, mild weather for the drive. Or even cold weather is all right, as long as the roads are clear, and they should be. Nice little house there. Ancora. I don't know what that means. Somebody's building on that corner, maybe? Or renovating. Design, build. I suppose that's a separate lot on the corner there. If there was ever a house there, it's long gone. Yeah, Penguin Walk. Hi, Judy. Jolie? Jolly. Oh, Jolly. There we go. Should have known. When I get home, it'll be time for lunch, which will be nice. Another alley. Our local artist, Wolf Perot, is known for painting alleys. Although he always takes out the modern blue and brown and green plastic containers, garbage containers. One's for kitchen waste, one's for recycling, one's for general garbage. He just puts in the old metal containers that haven't been around for many, many years. They were gone before I got here. I guess when I started living in the neighborhood, the garbage was in a big kind of double dumpster thing at the back that you could, you put stuff in and then they brought it along and picked it up and dumped it. Then they started segregating everything. That's when we got the current system. I guess I'll keep zigzagging to the left until I hit Albert and then work my way back in the opposite direction. Not a lot of deck action happening this time of year. We're on 21st. How close have I gotten? Oh, we still got a couple of blocks to go before we hit Albert, so still be doing the northern trending walk here for a bit. Albert Street is 2 blocks up, I think. Maybe 3. Can't be 3. This is one of the oldest neighborhoods in Regina. When it was first starting to grow, this was the nicest neighborhood. Lots of big old houses here. Close to the legislative building for the politician types. You get the old ones, and you get some new ones like that one over there, which is also quite large, but it is a new one, not an old one. Ray Street. No, there is one more block. We still have to get to Angus. Another modern one over there. It's quite a large modern one there. Taking full advantage of the lot. That one is orange. It's very orange. There's a modern one from a different era. That was very modern when it was built. Probably in the 40s, I would guess, from the looks of it. Sure, it was avant-garde for the time. There's a very purple one. Always nice to see a colorful one. Oh, there's a nasty patch of ice right there. While I'm talking, that's the dangerous times. I have to remember to keep looking at the ground. Yes, anyway, it's always nice to see those colorful houses in the winter sometimes. And everything is still, on a gray day, it's black and white pretty much. Not so much in the sunshine. This must be Hill Avenue. down the alleys. Hill is a fairly busy street. If you go down to the right, you come to the little Hill Avenue shopping area, but my walk shouldn't take me there today. Now, can I cross safely? I need to wait. Somebody coming, so I'll stick to this side. Go down to the next corner, and we'll go north one more block, and then start zigzagging our way back south. This appears to be not quite the right time to go yet. There. Hill Avenue is quite broad. Big one over there. That's quite a lovely day. As you can see, though, the streets are getting very sloppy. Because of sun, that's where they often are what melts first, even if it's still well below freezing. They'll sometimes start to get sloppy. They did scrape major roads anyway the other day. That was an alley, but it just goes into somebody's backyard. So there's a very thin layer here of snow on most of the streets, so it's melting off quite a bit. There's a big snowman over there. 3 of them. 3 snowmen. I guess they're kind of Christmas decorations, but I think they had to make them. I don't think we had enough snow at Christmas to make them. A duck under those spruce branches there. Now, do I go up the alley and then come back? Is that what I'm going to do? So I get one more little ways closer to Albert. Maybe that's what I'll do. There should be an alley. It's a big one there with the big pillars in front. Fairly new. Quite unlike anything else in the neighborhood. The big driveway up the front and the pillars. Yeah, we'll go up to the alley here, go one more block north, and then start working our way south. So that's Wascana Center over there. My daughter's actually over there, closer to the legislative building. There's something called the Frost Festival going on, and she's in a tent with Eyes Camp, educating youth in engineering and science, which is something she's worked with for the last couple of years. It's from University of Regina. I thought about walking over to Eyes Camp, but we've got a scavenger up there, I think, going through recycling bins. A little bit of garage door art there. Tree house. Once we get up to the next corner, we'll just turn right and start working our way back towards the bridge, I think, is the plan. People go through the recycling and then they can take it to the recycling depot and get a few dollars for it. It's not an uncommon sight, unfortunately. Okay, this is the extent of our southern, I always get my directions mixed up, southern walk. We will turn and work our way east and south. Just so we don't overlap the previous walk, I'll go 2 blocks this way before I turn south. I might even take my hat off. It's getting so warm with the walking. So right down there, we'd go by that big house again. So we're going to go 1 more block over and to vary the walk back. Assiniboine Avenue we're on. I used to know somebody who lived on Assiniboine. Is it one of these houses? Might have been. I can't remember exactly where in Assiniboine it was. But when I first moved here, I did a lot of shows with Ty Productions, TYE. Ty stood for Tom and Yvonne Ellis. And their house was on Assiniboine. Had a, that might be it right there. They're long gone, but did a lot of shows with them. Fantastics. Some reviews, things like that. In fact, I did 2 productions of the Fantastics, but one was with Lyric, was it? Was that a Thai show too? Not sure. Two dogs. Bingo. That's north. That's the way we're trending now. Look how blue the sky is once the sun's behind me. Oof. Oh, big dog over there standing up in the back, looking at me. His paws on the fence top. He's probably more interested in the 2 dogs that just went by than me, though. Probably be 0 by the time I get home if the temperature is trending up the way it's supposed to. Looking forward to having lunch when I get home and continuing to read The Expanse. I'm in book 6 of the 7-book series. So I've left the TV series behind completely. That was in the last book. Kind of a big time skip into book 6. And that's where I am now. Been enjoying reading them. They were really, the TV series was really a very good adaptation. A few changes, some characters given more emphasis than they have in the books. Part, I think, is I needed backstory for characters who become major in a book but weren't dealt with too much in the previous books. And of course, they killed off the pilot in the TV series. Oops, spoiler. He's still alive in the books. I believe they wrote him out of the TV series because of off-screen shenanigans. Decided they didn't want him in the cast anymore. There's another character that does die in the series, but dies differently in the series than he does in the books. So there were changes like that. But overall, extremely faithful adaptation as these things go. And I do recommend them if you like science fiction. The Expanse is one of the best, that series. And it's amazing what you can do now with CGI. So things that would have been impossible to put on screen or extremely difficult, like the original Star Wars with all models and everything, are now, I don't know that they're easy, a lot easier. Last night we watched Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, or is it whatever the latest one was? Is it the second one? Anyway, it was, the animation is just amazing. Just amazing. And such a varied mixture of it. I'm sure there's CGI in there, but there's hand-drawn stuff, and it's just amazing. I highly recommend it. Although it is to be continued, and the last one doesn't come out for another 2 years at least, it sounds like, or a year anyway. They're saying 2025, but my daughter doesn't think they'll make that deadline from what she's been reading. Oof. Unexpected dip there. Oof, another one. Now, we'll see where we end up zigzagging like this. I might end up right down at Elphinstone, which would make the return a little different as well to the house. So I'm trying not to repeat myself. Well, they clearly know I'm out here. This is bringing us back to hill again. Oh. My head's sweating, even without my hat. Shows you how warm it is. Oh, there's something brand new being built over there. Big new house. I have no idea what it replaced. I must have walked by it a million times, but I have no memory of it. Right, let's get across hill without being run over. Bit of a challenge. That car almost got me last time. No, I saw it coming, but had I not looked that way, I would have stepped out in front of it. You can see the little Hill Avenue shopping area down there in the distance. But again, not walking that far. On hill. We're going to turn down whatever this is. Robinson, is it? Robinson, okay. So we're well past the footbridge. So I think we'll end up on Elphinstone up there and then come back along a slightly different path. But we have to cross the footbridge eventually. Or a bridge. Could cross the Elphinstone Bridge. Well, technically I could walk across the creek on the ice, but you have to get down to it. And although there are places you can do that. Last time I walked along the creek, I went out on the ice. Can't really do it from this direction. It's a high bank. At least not in the part of it I'll be on. Boy, I'm getting hot. Can't open my... No, I didn't even notice that. My sound is probably deteriorated because my zipper... Let me do this instead. That should be better. It was on the zipper tab, and that's slowly been creeping down without me being aware of it. Well, if I do that, maybe I can at least open up the outer zipper, cool off a little bit more. Anyway, hopefully the sound's a little better again now. Try to read all that. I've always lived on the prairies. Even when I lived in Texas, it would get sub-zero temperatures from time to time in the winter. So you adapt. Like I said, right now it's right around freezing, and I feel like I'm in a sauna with the coat I'm wearing and the walking. And I've walked, as I've often mentioned, first year I was doing this, I walked around the lake one morning when it was minus 34 Celsius with a wind chill above that. It wasn't a huge wind chill, or I might have reconsidered. And as long as you're dressed for it, with multiple layers, and if you're moving, you stay plenty warm. It's when you stop moving that the cold starts to get you, because you're always losing heat. But if you're walking, you're also producing heat. There's a big newer one there. Quite nice. Ooh, bad patch of ice there. As I said, it's going to +5 today. For us, that's a heat wave in January for sure. Major heat wave. And it might be +8 or even +10. I saw at one point in the forecast. We'll see what actually happens. But another new one in that corner. Then it goes below. Ooh. Walking on that, that's pure ice over here. Well, impure ice, but uncovered bare ice, I guess, is what I really mean. Yeah, that's a pretty big one there. That's the back. That's the back porch and lawn. I wonder if they're going to put trees in it at some point, landscape it. I'm tempted to unzip the other layer too and really let in the cooler weather, cooler air. Ah! Oh, I'm still here. I think I'm still connected. Let's get that going there. There we go. Okay, I don't know. This thing took a pretty big hit. I don't know if it's going to work or not. But anyway, if you're worried, I went down hard, but I'm not hurt. Well, maybe it's okay. A piece of kind of a cosmetic bit came off, but I think the thing itself is working. So did everybody enjoy that? That was fun, wasn't it? I can't wait to see what that looks like. Yeah, so as I was saying, you have to watch out for the ice, especially on the driveways, because that's what just got me, was a patch of invisible ice at the end of a driveway. I think I will unzip my coat right now. I'm surprised this didn't go off. I mean, it hit hard, but it seems to be working, and I have the piece to replace that just popped off on one of the corners there. So. Woohoo! That was fun. Now that one I can't tell if it's new or renovations. Hard to be sure. Okay, I'm fine. Oh, great! You enjoyed that? Or maybe you're just referring to the walk. But if you just joined, I just went down hard back there. Hard fall. Banging my elbow, but it doesn't seem to be hurting too much. I think it's okay. Oh, here we are at Lakeview School. Well, if that's the case, I think I will go straight on then back to the footbridge that I crossed on to begin with, instead of carrying on to the left. Although I could still go one more block over west, I guess. Okay, well, it's the first on-screen fall since November 11th, 2022 or even 21. I fell on camera. Come close a few times, but I always try to be very careful, but that ice can really get you. Combination of ice and gravity, very bad. Gravity is not your friend. I've been watching that. I watched that house be built on these walks. It was under construction, and now it's being lived in. It looks quite finished. Nice modern house. This is Lakeview School over here. We'll go another block this way. That's Lakeview United Church in front of us. I can't wait to see what that looked like because the camera went flying. I'm lucky nothing broke more seriously than it did, including my arm, I guess. But it should have been quite something on the view. Anybody see it? Nobody's talking to me. Are you there? You're calling 911? I'm fine, really. It says I'm still connected. It still shows 10 people watching, so somebody say hi. Oh, and of course my microphone's out of position again now. Let's see. I guess that should go here now. Nope. There we go. Lakeview United, we had our auditions there for Beauty and the Beast, which I'll be playing Maurice in. We're not rehearsing there, though. We're rehearsing in the Union Hall. Oh, hello. People are still there. That's good. And so am I, which is even better. I'm playing Maurice, the father, in Beauty and the Beast. Our first read-through is next Sunday, a week from today. My daughter auditioned, but alas, she's not playing Belle, which would have been fun, because then we could have played father and daughter on stage. She's in the dance corps. Nope, I'm fine. I went down hard, but didn't break anything. I'm wearing a leather jacket, so that cushioned my elbow a bit when I hit the ground. I didn't scrape anything either. Not that I'd ever fall like that in the summer. Well, I shouldn't say that. Some of the slipperiest stuff you can walk on is wet leaves, which you can certainly get in the summer. A couple of my near falls have been on wet leaves over thin mud. That's as slick as ice is. Okay, now I'll go back that way, and that'll take me right back to the footbridge. This is Lakeview School. The old part of it was built in 1914. The new part was built in the 30s. Yep, I'm okay. Like I said, I can't wait to see what that looks like, though. I was afraid the camera had gone dead, which is what happened when I fell 2 years ago on the ice. The camera lost the feed, and so everybody was really concerned because it's like it just vanished. I had to restart it as quick as I could just to reassure people that I was okay. It's the front of Lakeview School. This brings us back to Cornwall, which will take us right back to the footbridge. So this worked out really well for a rather random walk. This part, well, Lakeview School. I think that would be the old part, the original entrance. I guess it still is the entrance. I haven't been in there all that often. think my wife wasn't watching. At least I don't think she was. She didn't know I was out, so I can show her to her later when she knows I'm all right. All right, back to the footbridge and then home in another 2 or 3 blocks. Where a couple of modern ones there, where lunch is waiting. Well, it's not really waiting. I have to make it, but where the makings for lunch are waiting. And I'll see if I can put the little cap back on that popped off when this went down. There's a spot on the side that now has exposed circuitry on the gimbal here. There's a big newer one there. The older I get, the less I'm going to like the risk of falling. You never think it's going to happen. But again, as I was saying not long before that, gravity and ice are not your friend. Did I say that after that? Either way, it's true. Nasty combination. Gravity is always out to get us, like right there when I miss the step. It may be an attractive power, but it's not a safe power. Some sort of pun there. All right. Back across Regina Avenue, back across the footbridge. About 3 blocks to home from there. So instead of going along the dike like I did before, I'll go down over there to finish the walk. One more look at the creek, looking west. And looking east. Now we're going north to Alaska. Well, north here would not take you to Alaska, it would take you to Nunavut, I think. Due north. Probably kids tobogganing over to my left, although I don't hear anything. But there's a bowl formed by the dike and a flood control area. That's very popular for, I've been in that house, it's very cool. Kind of a 50s ultra-modern house. And this is another house that I've watched being built on these walks. It was under construction when I first began. It's a nice one. Really nice one. 2 lots, so their taxes are high. But yes, very nice house. They always have nice decorations. I come by here at Christmas and Halloween as well, for that reason. My elbow does sting a little bit, but it does not seem to be too bad. See, right over there, actually, oddly enough, is where I fell on November 11th, 2021, I think it was. If you want to go back and watch me fall again, one of the highlights, I should maybe do a highlight reel of falling and almost falling, but way too much work. I mean, yes, this is a monetized channel, but it's monetized at about 50 cents a day or something like that. I keep hoping it'll pick up because of the World Shapers podcast videos that are starting to appear now. There'll be another one coming up shortly once I get back and get it finished up. My interview with Mark Morton. He's teaches at the University of Waterloo. Has published several nonfiction books, but I published his first novel, which is a really, really good young adult dystopian novel called The Headmasters. I highly recommend. And we'll continue to recommend, since it's about to come out next Tuesday, not this Tuesday, but February 6th. And we carry on another block this way, or do I go straight? Oh, let's go straight. Here to Leopold Crescent and follow it around. Keeping an eye out for ice on the sidewalk. That wasn't ice, that was just a dip. Very hard to see with snow packed on things. No contrast. Very old style van. You see, it's actually bare sidewalks. Often the iciest in this kind of weather. So I might be very careful where I walk the next few days until it seems like things have really melted off, because that fall back there is exactly what I was worried about, and I went and did it, despite being very conscious of it. That's a very nice house. Quite new. Just a few years old. I'd love to see inside it. I love the style. A lot of steps up to your front door, though. Won't be practical if you get to a certain age. Down there, that row of houses is built in 1913, so they're 110 years old this year. Last year they were, I guess. Henderson Terrace, it's called. Heritage property. I'd like to see one of those, too. I think there's 8 of them. 8 units. I was just talking to the woman whose family lives there in the grocery store yesterday. Her son went to school with our daughter, same grade. Their son. They have a nice house. I've been in it too. One more block. I always like to point out this house is where they filmed a movie with Linda Carter back in the 90s. Family Blessings, I think it's called. I've never seen it. I keep meaning to look it up just to see what the neighborhood looked like, because I used to walk by here when they were filming. Never saw Linda Carter. But they used the interior of the house as well as the exterior, and there were like American police cars and mailboxes around here. They dressed the whole neighborhood for the show. All right, we will stop at the stop sign up here. That's my traditional stopping point when I'm approaching from this direction. Oh, we'll stop at the stop sign. Thanks for walking with me. and falling with me. And she'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.